Hello guys, in this video I'm going to answer the vector question. Now the good thing about this video is that I'm going to involve English and Bemba so that all of you can understand this video properly. So to start with, the question is saying, in the diagram below, OA vector is equal to 4A vector, OB vector is equal to 4B vector, and PB vector is equal to 3A vector minus B vector. The lines OP and AB intersects at X. So in Bemba we can say, so vector watupere ukufuma pa O ukufika pa A ni 4A vector. Then na watuperako na vector OB. So ukufuma pa O ukusafika pa B, batupereko vector which is 4B vector. Then here last watupere bese mutuperako vector PB which is 3A vector minus B vector. Then muri same question na watuwe bati ama line OP na AB na kumana pa X, so they have intersected at point X. So ngepo ya kumeni meaning ni pakati ya kumeni, that's in Bemba. So now the first question, which is Roman number 1, it is saying, express in terms of A vector and A or B vector. The first question, which is question A, OP vector. So we need to express OP vector in this case. Now when answering this question, you need to know the starting point or the tail and the head or the ending point. So paka suka question is so ufiringire wa ishiwa epo oleambira nepo oleperera. So now we can say O is the tail and P is the head or the ending point. So tuaranda tuleambira pa O, then upo tuaraperera pa P. When answering this question, for you to reach P, you need to choose roots which are vectors. So no mapako asuke OP so tufiringe tuasala ama roots umuri ama vectors. Suppose we choose this root here where we are going to say O P dialect. Do we have vectors here? We don't have. Suppose tuasala inshila tuasala kufuma pa O ukusafika pa P dialect apaso. Ushina tupata ma vectors apaso tatukwete, meaning it to send. Again, if we choose this root here where we are going to say O A, then from A up to P, this one also is not going to work because at this point we don't have a vector, but on this point here we have a vector. Tumo nga tuwasala inshile where twaraenda tukufuma pa O kusafika pa A, futu kuma pa A kusafika pa P, inshila tayawombe. Nefu tayawombele apana watupera vector, but apata watupere vector. So what about this one here where we are going to say O B, then from B to P, this one here, is it going to work? Of course it is going to work because we have this vector A and also this vector A. Nga chakweba tuwasala inshire tuwafuma pa O ukusafika pa P, then from P tuwasala pa P. Ushe yukutia bomba kwa yukutia bomba because na watupera ma vectors aso na ayapa so inshiro tuwala bomfya. So we can say for us to reach P, the first step that we are going to take this one which is O B. So we can say OP is equal to OB. Then from there now, we need to start from B up to P. That is how we are going to move. So if tuwara serapa, tuwara enda ukufuma pa O, ukufika pa P, eya pa first tuwaremba. Then futu ukufuma pa same point which is B, ukufuka pa P, a point to alemba palasta paso. So now we need to ask ourselves, what is vector OP? So vector OB that we have here, it is 4B vector. So number vector O tukwete ukufuma pa O ukufuka pa P ni vector nshi. So vector tukwete ni hapa, which is 4B vector. Then plus, what is our PB vector? So vector O tukwete ukufuma pa P, ukufuka pa P ni vector nshi tukwete iso, which is 3A vector minus B vector. So here, we need to collect the like terms. We can say that 4B vector and B vector, which is negative B vector, they are like terms. So apanga tuwaroresha, E4B vector na negative B vector na afpalana. So tufilinge tuafibika side kumokwine. So we can say 4B vector minus B vector, we are going to get 3B vector. So nga tuwata subtractor paso 4B vector ukufumyamo B vector turashana na shinga 3B vector plus 3A vector otukwete kulasi ukso. So that is how you are supposed to answer this question. So for filling it, ask a question. So if you want, you can factorize it. So ngole factorize, whereby you factor out what is common, where our finya kumse ichilesangwa konse kubiri. So we can say that 3 is common in these two here. So tuamona kwe bati 3 ilesta appear side uku no kuso. So if we factor out 3, meaning what we are going to remain with here, it is going to be what? B. So nga tuafinya kunse 3, yo turashala na ena hapa ni B vector. Then plus, what we are going to remain with here, it is going to be A vector. Ito turashala na pena apanga tuashita factor out 3, turashala na A vector. So turapanga at A vector, then close bracket. So you can leave your answer in a factorized form, or you can leave your answer in this form here. So let's move on to the next one. Therefore, question B is saying we need to express AB vector. So we are finding AB vector. So apart to therefore AB vector. So one thing that you need to know here is that we need to know the starting point and we need to know the ending point. So we can say the starting point here it is A, then the ending point is B, or the tail here is A, then the head is B. So apa kusanga AB vector tufulinge twaishiba epo tuleyambira nepo tuleperera. So tuleyambira pa A ukupira pa B. Now I'm from saying that when integrating any vector, you need to choose the roots which have vectors. So nga twaroresha hapa inshira au tuingenda okufuma pa A ukusafika pa B ninshira nshi. So kitwabo mfye inshira twafuma pa A twafika pa O, then yukufuma pa O kusafika pa B ninshi twarasalire iso, because natumonati apana tukwata vector which is 4A vector, then apana natukwata na pena vector which is 4B vector. To use this route here where we are going to come from A to O, then from O up to B, because we know that we have the vectors if we use these routes here. So we can say when we move from A, we are going to point O. Then from point O to point what? B. So those are the routes that we are going to take here. Now as you can see here, as we are moving from point A up to point O, this arrow here is indicating that it is going to site A, meaning we are going against an arrow. So now when you are going against an arrow, always you need to put a negative to a vector. So nga chakwebati urefuma ku side imo, like if turefuma pa A tureya pa O, then tuamona arrow iresonta ku A ukso. So pakufaya vector which is AO vector kubika feka negative because tureya uko arrow taireya. So yonse fe ngoreya eko arrow tile which indicate negative. So here we are going to indicate a negative on 4a vector. Then when it comes to OB vector, we are coming from O going B here, meaning we are going where an arrow is going, or the direction where it is going. So nga kuroresha paso ukufua OB vector turefuma pa O nokufika pa B paso. So tureya kula kuineko arrow ireira. So arrow ireso nita kuli B, meaning turese in the positive value. So here you can say positive for B vector. Always, when writing a vector, do not forget about this bar here. Okay. So to finish this one, I'm just going to start with a positive answer or positive value, which is 4b vector minus 4a vector. So ukwasuka question is so narabalirapo fe na number equate the positive value, then in dekereshe ne equate negative value. Here ni negative 4a vector. So that is how you're supposed to answer this question. Once you can factor out this question, or you can factorize this question here, whereby you factor out 4, then here you're going to remain with b minus a vector, likewise. So from the same question we can say we have already calculated our AP from A up to B direct, so we can also use this route here. So now how? So we can say our AB vector is going to be 4b vector minus 4a vector. Then apart from that one, we also have the vector which is OP, direct 3a vector plus 3b vector. That's OP. So not kwatako ama vectors ukufuma apa pa A, ukufika pa B, futi ukufuma pa O, ukusafika pa P. Answers what sangire muri ine question. Question C is saying we need to find AP. So now AP, we need to identify the starting point and the ending point. So back for our AP, na pe natufinye tuwa ishiba, epo tureyambira, nepo tureperera. So as you can see here, we are starting from O and ending where? At point P. So we can't use this route here directly because we don't have vectors here. So that tuwonfye inshirei where ngatuambira pa A, ukusaperera pa P, ukuwonfye inshira. That tuwonfye. Necha alenga tu, that tuwonfye so, that pere pa ma vectors are kuwonfya. So what we can do here, we can say we are going to move from point A up to point B, up to point O, then from point O up to point what? P, because we know that as for OP, we have already calculated what? OP in the same question. And then we also have a vector, which is vector OP. So in shire L to ala bomvyapa, to ala sende, to ala fuma pa A, to certificate pa O, then nga to fuma pa O, to ala direct pa P. Nish to ala sende in shire so. Na tuishi bat na tuwa kale OP muri question ni ine o tuesanga, which is 3a vector plus b plus 3b vector. Then if you don't want to use this route here, you can also use this route here, where you are going to say to move from A up to O, then from O up to B, then from B up to P. You can also use this route here. Moving from A up to O, then from O up to P. That is how we are going to move. Now, what is our AO? As you can see here, when we move from A up to O, we are going against an arrow or the direction of a vector. So nga tuwafuma pa A, ukuya pa O. Natumona arrow ireila ku A, so tureya ku O ifwe. So lyonsefe nga ureida uko arrow taileya. Ufiringira wabikako negative kuli vector. Here we are going against an arrow, meaning we are going to put a negative to a vector here. So we can say 4a vector, which is negative 4a vector. Then plus, what is our OP vector? So OP vector outkweta hapa nishani ni hapa so, which is 3A vector plus 3B vector. So vector outkwete ufuma pa O kufika pa P ni 3A vector plus 3B vector. So we can say 3A vector plus 3B vector. Now as we can see here, these two are like what? Terms. So we need to do something here. So we are going to substitute. So ngana tumona if we believe so naf parana. So tufilingire to after add or to after subtract. Say negative 4A vector plus 3A vector. We are going to get what? Negative A vector equal mwi number inono. Yonse ufilingira wakata negative. So this one is our answer for AP vector. But if you want, you can also rearrange the terms by starting with a positive answer or positive value, which is 3B vector. And then at the end you say minus A vector. You can also leave your answer like this or in this form. Then as for the last one, which is Roman numeral number 2, it is saying given that OX is equal to H of OP. When you move from point O up to point X, when you have been given H and vector OP, you can easily calculate what? OX here. So, ngana batupera vector OP, or ngana tusangapo vector OP. Tituafwaya, chichaba ichanguka ukufwaya vector OX. So, ngana tusangapo vector OP, tituasanga OX. So now what is our vector OP? So our vector OP was the first answer, which was 3A vector plus 3B vector. So we can say here, open bracket, 3A vector plus 3B vector. Then from there now we multiply. So OP vector answer outwachikwata yachibaniso. So parapene tukwete OP vector apa so apa. Epo tufilingire twabika iraine answer twachisanga. Now when multiplying here, H is the variable and A vector is a vector and also B vector is a vector. So in multiplying, how we write the answer is like this. Start with the coefficient and what follows next is the variable. Then at the end you put a vector. Upon a number which is 3, pakonga variable. So variable ni letter ili yonse mu mathematics. So muri equation variable over tupere ni h. So tufilinge twakonganya pona h. Then pakolekeresha otwabika po a vector. Similarly on part 3b vector we are going to do the same thing. So we can say plus h multiplied by 3b vector. We are going to get 3h b vector. So this one, it is our OX a vector. So let's try to continue the question. So the question continues. We need to show that AX is equal to, open bracket, 3H minus 4, cross bracket, A vector plus 3HB vector. So we need to show that this one here, which is AX, the answer of AX is this one here. So nga bakupera question ukulanga ukwebati vector kaino bakupere is equal to answer of bakupera. Ifo ufilingire wachita ufilingire waisha na maka yonse wasanga filafini ifo bakupere. So in this case here we are finding AX. Now from this AX, our starting point is A and our ending point it is X. So nga tuarosha papa so Trefuma pa A uksafuka pa X. So we can say the roots that we are going to use here are going to be from A up to O. Then from O up to what? X. So in shira au tuara bonfia pa tuarafuma pa A ukufika pa O. Then nga tuarafuma pa O tuarafika pesa pa X, which is the last point. So we can say AO vector plus OX vector. So what is our A vector? Remember, if you are going against an arrow or the direction, you need to put a negative. So mwibukishe ngo uleya uko arrow taileya kubikako negative kuli vector. So we are going to indicate a negative to this vector, which is vector 4a, then plus. What is our OX? I'm from calculating OX here. So tufine kusanga OX hapa. So para ila OX eotwatsanga eotwalabika pali I vector. So the answer for OX was 3h a vector plus 3h b vector. So now, as you can see here, these two numbers, negative 4 and positive 3, they have, which is positive 3, this one here, they have a vector in common. So we can say, if we rearrange these numbers by starting with a positive value, we are going to have 3h a vector minus 4a vector plus 3h b vector. That is what we are going to have if we rearrange these by starting with a positive value. So now I'm saying we have a vector which is common. So if we factor out a vector, what are we going to remain with here? So nga twasta factor out a vector. Since a vector a parene mulif fibirif so. And tufiringe twa showing if answer ili apopo over to pere. So if we factor out a vector, meaning here we are going to remain with 3h minus 4. Then a vector is going to be outside here. So nga twata factorize muri inshira. Nga therefore at tumone nga nata factorize if it is correct. Tufiringe twa multiply. So to prove that this one is a correct factorization form, we need to try by multiplying. So if you multiply a vector multiplied by 3h, we are going to get what? 3h a vector, which is this one. Then again, if you multiply negative 4 multiplied by a vector, you are going to get negative 4 a vector. So meaning this one is correct. Then at the end, we are going to say plus 3h b vector. So pakolekeresha ufiringire wabikako 3h b vector. So now, as you can see here, AX from the same question that they have given us is same as the answer that we have found here. So now they were saying we need to show that. So at the end, you need to say hence shown. So we in a question verse 2 bati tufuringire twalanga ukwe bati AX is equal to open bracket 3h minus 4 close bracket a vector plus 3h b vector. So pakulekeresha ufuyingire walemba hence shown. So we are going to say hence shown. So this one is our last question. So thanks for watching, and if you are new to this channel, subscribe for more videos like this.